lot of people out there are missing benefits because they're unaware of this thing called protective filing or open lead with Social Security Administration. So I'm going to talk about that today. And as always, if you say, well, that doesn't apply to me, please think about those people around you. If you're about to file for benefits, or you know someone about to file for benefits, or you recently filed for benefits, then you might be able to get some extra money. So we'll talk about all the situations that you can get some extra money from Social Security because, after all, you paid for it. This is your money. You paid FICA all those decades. Let's make sure you get everything you earned. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and I've taken a few 100,000 retirement claims, survivor claims, disability, Medicare A, B, spouse benefits. So I spend my semi-retirement helping y'all get everything you earned and making sure my second new mission is to make sure Social Security is around here for the future. Okay, let's go ahead. And this is also a live Q&A. So today's topic about protective filing, open leads, retroactive benefits should take probably about 10 or 15 minutes. And then for the rest of the hour, I'm going to open it up to questions. So if you have any questions on all things Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, make sure you type them in the chat. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, a protective filing is basically when you call Social Security, contact Social Security, call Social Security, walk into an office, send a letter, carrier pigeon, Western Union, whatever the case may be, telegraph, telegram, whatever way you contact Social Security, that is a protective filing. So let's say that this is a big one right now. Because we're at the end of the year and a lot of people are retiring starting January, February, whatever the case may be. And because Social Security is at a 50-year low in terms of staffing, you have to wait a month or 2 months or 3 months to actually get an appointment because they're going to a reservation only system. I've talked about that, and politicians are trying to kill Social Security, but I won't talk about that right now because I'll get all red and start getting mad and angry and all that stuff. So anyway, but if you call Social Security, let's say it's January, and you call Social Security and you want to start your benefits in January, but you can't get an appointment until March, you're fine because you called Social Security in January by the end of the month. So that is a protective filing, also called an open lead. It kind of sounds like a sales type thing, but anyway, that's what they call it internally, open lead protective filing. So when you have your actual appointment in March, whether it's retirement benefits, spouse benefits, survivor benefits, whatever the case may be, you can say, hey, thanks for taking my claim and, starting my benefits in March, but, I called y'all in January. And they'll say, oh, yeah, that's right. In VIPR, the system there, VIPR, the visitor intake process, the R parts for rewrite. But anyway, they'll look in there and say, oh, yeah, you did call us in January. And so do you want your benefits to start in January? Because remember, anytime you take money from Social Security early, it's always reduced, every month, if you're taking it early. So it's reduced a little bit every month. So if you want to take your benefits in January instead of March and be reduced a little bit, but you get those 3 extra checks, then you go ahead and jump on it and tell them, yeah, start me in January or start me in March. But remember, you always get your check a month late. So if you started in March, you won't get your check until April. The March check comes in April. April check comes in May. So that is one thing that a lot of people are missing because of the new system. They're kind of recommending people go online. It's the same type of situation. If your claim is not adjudicated and not processed for a month, 2 months, 5 months, or 6 months, and you get your first check and you don't get that back pay, you call them up and say, hey, I called y'all several months ago. I walked into an office, but y'all sent me away. I called and asked about this, but the person told me incorrect information. That's what we're seeing a lot nowadays with so short staffing, and they're putting people at the windows and picking up, calls that are not fully trained yet. So they're providing incorrect information. So if you, called them 6 months ago, a year ago, and said, hey, I want to file for spouse benefits. And they say, oh, you're not entitled to spouse benefits because here's the big one, because your ex-spouse hasn't started their benefits yet. And people that watch my channel know your ex-spouse doesn't have to start their benefits yet. It's called independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. As long as you've been divorced for 2 years and that person is at least 62 years old, you can get those benefits. So if it was a year ago, they gave you wrong information, that is a protective filing. And they say, hey, you gave me the wrong information. I want 12 months back pay. And they better give it to you. All right. So those are called retroactive benefits. based on a protective filing or an open lead. But there are also other type of retroactive benefits that back pay that you can get if you're filing for Social Security, just regular retirement on your own record after your full retirement age. Then they should ask you when they take your claim, do you want 6 months of retroactive pay? Do you want 6 months of back pay? They can only go back to the month you turn your full retirement age. So if you're 68 years old and you're filing, because you're delayed starting your benefits because you wanted those delayed retirement credits, you can take those full delayed retirement credits or 68, or you can say, you know what, I should have taken it 6 months ago, and now I want to take a vacation, so I guess I'll take that extra 6 months of benefits. So yeah, start my benefits 6 months ago, and they give you a lump sum check for the past 6 months, and then start your benefits going forward. So after your full retirement age, you can go back 6 months. Remember, please share this. A lot of people out there are waiting till after they're 70 years old. Do not wait till after the month you turn 70 years old, because your benefits stop increasing after 70 years old based on delayed retirement. You get those delayed retirement credits. The max you get is the month you turn 70. And I get people call me all the time and say, or come into the live chat and say, I'm 72. When should I retire? It's like 2 years ago. So, all right, a disability. Disability can go back 12 months from the time of the application. So if you take your application, let's say it's January, and they unfortunately they take 6 to 9 months if you're lucky to get a decision, and 6 to 9 months later they approve you. Your application date determines when they're going to start benefits, and they can go back to 12 months prior to your application date, if based on whether they determine you disabled. If you walk into an office and you just had a terrible car accident the day before and you're unable to work now, then obviously Social Security defines disability as the inability to work. So but if you were disabled 12 months prior to the application date, they can actually give you 12 months of back pay. One of the unfortunate things on Social Security is that there's a 5 month waiting period. So nobody receives regular Social Security benefits for that first 5 months. So there's that 5 month waiting period. But 12 months, yeah, definitely helps out. Here's one. This was the title of the YouTube and all the whatever. The thumbnail was survivor benefits. And this is one I'm going to put the reference up here because a lot of Social Security employees miss this one as well. There's over 20,000 pages of policy. And I'm going to just put it in the chat here. This is the actual reference out of the 20,000 pages of policy. And what this is survivor benefits. Normally on regular retirement benefits, you can go back 6 months, but they changed the law a while ago. And now you can go back 12 months. If Social Security failed to notify you of the person's passing, failed to notify that you needed to take an application, if the person passed away and Social Security didn't get the notification of that person's passing, there's several situations that if you delayed filing for survivor benefits, then when you do file for survivor benefits, if that person passed away 12 months prior, then please take that reference there, ask them and says, hey, I heard survivor benefits can go back 12 months. I didn't know that person passed away. They passed away overseas and y'all weren't aware of it or gave me the wrong information, didn't tell me I needed to apply for benefits, whatever the case may be. You put that reference, given that reference, because unfortunately this is kind of a hidden reference a lot of Social Security employees don't get. And you need to make sure you get everything you're entitled to from Social Security. And so we're talking. So how did I come up with the $45,000? Because the max you can get as a survivor is that person's full benefit amount. For 2025, we're looking at if a max Social Security benefit for someone that is their full retirement age is about $4,000. If that person waited till they're 70. For 2025 is a little over $5,000. So $5,000 times 12 months. So that's a lot of money there. I know there's someone out there. If you press like and subscribe and share and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure this video is going to find someone that says, oh, wait a second, that's me. And they go get their $45,000 and they come back here and they say, hey, Ed, and the rest of your community, thank you for finding this money for me. So, okay. Underpayments. If you have some type of underpayment that, you find Social Security messed up or whatever the case may be, there's no statute of limitations on that stuff. If you find out something that they messed up and they owe you, then definitely always request. As anytime you go into Social Security and you want that back pay, always request it and says, hey, it's like going to a car deal. Hey, you cut off some of the sticker price for me or something, or the documentation fee, this BS documentation fee, whatever, destination charges. But sorry, car salespeople out there. But always ask, hey, can I get some, retroactive benefits, some back pay and stuff? Remember, if you're filing for retirement benefits or spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits, if you take the money early, it is going to be reduced. For the rest of your life. Once you take the benefits and continue to receive those benefits, they're always reduced. But you just might want that 6 months or 12 months of back pay, right? And one of the things that a lot of people, or not a lot of people, that a lot of people don't check is their earnings record. It's called the SEQI internally with Social Security, your summary earnings query. And this is why you should go in and set up a Social Security account. Whenever you do your taxes, you're not done with your taxes until you go into the Social Security account and make sure how much you paid into FICA actually reached Social Security and it's the correct amount. Please tell all your young, friends and relatives that too, because if you catch it early when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, it's easier to fix. But there's a lot of people out there that are, go ahead and filing for retirement at 62, 65, 67, and they say, wow, they missed my earnings in the 80s, but I can't prove it now. And they're losing money for the rest of their life. But if you are able to prove it, let's say you file for retirement benefits and you've been receiving it for 10 years and you finally take my advice and you go in there and you say, wait a second, there's a mistake here. And if you're able to fix it, there are some limitations on that. But if you're able to fix it somehow, Social Security will give you all of that money back. So if that increases your benefit $10 for the last 10 years, then they will give you that $10 for 10 years back pay, one lump sum check. So any of those error corrections, it's always good to be a little bit more vigilant and to check your earnings record. All right, and there's also a reopened case. If your case is denied, you file a reconsideration. If you disagree with something, always file a reconsideration. It's an easy thing to do. SSA 561. But they have to make an official decision yet first. You can't go into an office and the person says you're not entitled, because that's just until you actually are issued a decision letter that yes, you filed for benefits and you're not entitled, then you can't file a reconsideration because the first consideration hasn't been made. It's just somebody at the front window saying, whatever. So if you have one of those situations where you were denied and you appeal it and you win your appeal, then they will reopen that case and give you all those benefits. And that's what happens, with people that file for disability and they're denied the first time, denied the second time. They go to administrative law judge, which takes a couple of years. And the administrative law judge says, yeah, I know, Social Security, you made a mistake day one. This person should have been approved. So they give you those 2 years of back pay. They reopen your case, or maybe 3 years of back pay, depending on if you've got that protective filing there. And a lot of people are surprised. They say, "Yeah, my case just got approved, but I, last week, and I just got my Medicare card." And it's like, I thought you get Medicare after being on disability for 2 years. Yes, technically, you've been on disability for 2 years, even though you were just approved last week, because they went back 2 years. So if that's your case, if you're turning 65, if you're new to Part B and all that stuff, you need to make sure you find a Medicare plan to cover the gap. So that's why my partners there can help you out with everything: Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, Part D, and all that kind of good stuff. Giving them a call, not today, not tomorrow, because they're all recuperating from the annual enrollment period. But yeah, once January 2nd comes around, they'll be at full staff. So yeah, apologize. They said to convey apologize for the New Year's they're taking off and Christmas and all that stuff, but they'll be full force in January 2nd. Okay. All right. So those are all the cases. And with everything Social Security, there's exceptions, the exceptions, but I see so many people that are losing benefits. I've seen because they don't ask for those retroactive benefits. They don't get that back pay. And here's another trick. Do not wait for documentation to file for your claim. I see too many people say, well, I'll file for disability once I get my medical records. I will file for divorce spouse benefits once I get into my divorce decree. I will file for retirement benefits after I get my birth certificate. No, do not wait. Call Social Security immediately. If you're entitled to benefits, call Social Security. That establishes a protective filing. And then you go get your birth certificate, or you probably won't even need a birth certificate, or your divorce decree, or whatever the case may be. And then if it comes up to your time of your appointment, and a month or 2 months or 3 months later, and you needed that divorce decree, and you're like, I haven't got it yet, so I'll cancel my appointment. No, don't cancel your appointment. You might not even need it. So keep the appointment even without the documentation, and they'll confirm whether you actually needed it. And you'll just say, yeah, I ordered it. It's not here yet. They'll say, okay, no problem. What, couple of weeks? Yep, couple of weeks. Okay, just give it to me in a couple of weeks. So piece of cake. All right, so that is it. I'm sure we've got tons of different questions here. So let's jump into it. And I'll spend about the next 40 minutes answering as many questions as I possibly can. I definitely not going to get to all of them. I'm going to jump around a little bit today. I'm going to look for people I've never seen before, new people to the channel, and try to answer some questions for some new people. Um, all right. Morrison family, any options? Went out of work and was denied SSDI. Still out of 10 years later with limited abilities. Can only work part time due to pain, loss of all my work credits. Um, yeah. So you didn't really lose your work credits. You just lost what's called your date last insured. For disability, you need two insurance status. One is that you paid into Social Security, the 10 years, 40 quarters. And if you're younger, you don't have to be the 40 quarters. But the other one is, it's called currently insured. It's basically that you had to work 5 out of the last 10 years for the most part. There are exceptions if you're very, very young. But you had to work 5 out of the last 10 years. And it sounds like that was your issue because you've been out of work for 10 years and they can't go back, far enough to get your work in there. So you were denied because you're not currently insured. And the reason Social Security has that is basically, if you work in your 20s and get your 10 years of earnings, and then you travel around the world, backpack for the next 40 years, and then fall, climbing Mount Everest, and you come back, says, I can't work anymore because I've fallen, and I'm disabled. And they say, well, you haven't worked in the last 40 years. So that's where they came up with the whole 5 out of the 10. The only option is for people with disability other than SSDI is SSI, which is a welfare-based program, Supplemental Security Income, SSI. But because it is a welfare-based program, you have to have limited resources, limited income, your spouse within your family. So that is an option. Other than that, you probably just have to wait till your retirement age, at least 62 or 60 if you're looking for survivor benefits, because it sounds like you are insured. So you're not currently insured for disability, but you're insured for retirement. So when you hit 62, it sounds like you are, insured there. So yeah, Dr. Ed, please click the like button. Yes, please click the like button. Yes, it does help my ego a little bit when I get the likes and the subscriptions and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, I have to be honest. But more importantly, it gets these videos out to people that really need it. There's a lot of people that need this extra money. How soon should I apply for spousal benefits? I will be getting 62 of May. Also, will payments start June? Okay, so for spouse benefits, so you have to start your benefits, and when you turn 62, you have to be 62 the entire month. So if you weren't born like basically, May 2nd, because they always consider you attaining age the day before, then you'll have to start your benefits in June, and your June check will come in July. So if that's what we're talking about, then yeah, a couple of 3 months before is fine. Remember, you have to file for benefits on your own record. And then if you're entitled to spouse benefits, that is you're, married, or if it's divorce, you were married to that person for 10 years. And those benefits are twice your full benefit amount, then you're entitled to the difference between those. So Let's see, Monica, separated from husband 6 to 7 years. I'm currently on SSD. Could I claim spousal benefits? Yeah, it's. Thank you, Monica, for that question because there's tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars out there being lost because of people don't know this. They think that because they're on Social Security disability, they can't collect any other benefits, or they're scared to collect other benefits because they think that's going to stop their Medicare. That's incorrect. Um, if you've been separated for 6 or 7 years, sounds like you're still maybe technically married. So if you're still technically married, Social Security doesn't really care about estrangement or separate or anything like that. You're married. You're married. If it's if your state considers you to be married, then you're married according to Social Security. So yeah, if you're on Social Security disability insurance and because you're currently married, if you're 62 years old, your spouse needs to have filed for Social Security benefits. If, as I just talked about, the independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, if you were divorced, then it didn't matter whether that person has filed for benefits as long as they're 62. But since you're currently married, then that person has to file for benefits. And once that person files for benefits on their own record, then you can file for spouse benefits on those. And what you'll get is disability. And then you'll get the difference between 50% of their benefit amount and your own. And because your disability will continue, and just spouse benefits will be added on top of that, because your disability is continuing, then Medicare will continue as well. You won't lose Medicare. So really appreciate all the information you supply. You're welcome. You're welcome. Do I get my Social Security amount and all my ex-husband's Social Security, or just a portion or spousal claim? Okay, yep. So basically the same answer. So you have to file for benefits on your own record. And then if you're entitled to benefits on that person's record, then you get basically the difference. Say, for instance, if you're entitled to $1,000 on that person's record and your benefits are $400, then you'll get your $400 plus $100. So you get $500 because you're entitled to 1,000 on that person's record. Half of that, or that is if we're talking your full retirement age. If you file for benefits early, then it's reduced. Um, and one of the things I see is people look at the wrong numbers. So don't look at the MBA, which is the monthly benefit amount, because your check could be reduced, the spouse's check could be reduced because that you filed early, or one's paying for Medicare or what. You don't look at those amounts to determine whether the other person makes twice your benefit amount. You look at the PIA, which is the primary insurance amount, which is the amount at full retirement age. And how do you find that out? You call up Social Security and with both of you on the phone or whatever the case may be, and say, hey, can I get any money off this person? What's this person's PIA? Is there any spouse benefits available? And yep, they will let you know. Um, let's see. I hear when you call Social Security, cuts phone after 25 minutes here. Wow. Wow, that's I guess that's an improved efficiency. Because I'm getting a lot of people telling me been waiting on the phone for 3 hours and then they get cut off. So I guess they're cutting you off earlier. So is that is that being, yeah, or is that being better? No, I don't think it's. And here's what you do. Here's what everyone should do. Anytime you call them up and you can't get an appointment for 2 or 3 months, you call them up and you're waiting for on your phone for 3 hours. While you're sitting there waiting on your phone for 3 hours, pop your laptop open, go to your senator's website, congressperson's website, and they've got a little button there that says, I need help with a federal agency. And right in there, I'm sitting here trying to get a hold of Social Security. I'm on hour 2. What are you doing, local, federal politician that, represents this district, and that Social Security office is in this district? Because they don't care about what happened in the rest of the country, but they only care about getting votes. So tell them, says, hey, I've been on this phone for 2 hours. What are you doing to improve customer service at your local office? Forget about the rest of the country. What are you doing to, we have to get localized with these people and get them to wake up. So, and I've also got a petition there that we're going to send to all the politicians and tell them to improve customer service, because without the customer service, without the ability to help you get your benefits, the correct benefits at the correct time, then yeah, there's just way too many people not getting the benefits they earned. So I'm going to work next year and I collect Social Security. Would I benefit taking more out of my check for a 401k? Yeah, the 401k has no relevance whatsoever to your Social Security benefits at all. So, not an issue whatsoever. The only thing that if taking money out of IRA or 401 or whatever is it if you're receiving Medicare, it may increase your Medicare Part B premium and your Part D, the prescription drug premium. They're called IRMA, income related monthly adjustment amount. So if you're was it next year, it's if you're a single and make over 106,000, that includes working and taking out an IRA, or 401k or whatever, any type of distributions. For the most part, Roth IRA is not counted. Or if you're married, it's over 212,000 for next year, then you might have to pay extra for your Part B and Part D. But in terms of your Social Security, it doesn't affect your Social Security at all. Social Security wants you to have 401ks and IRAs and all those other pensions. Will veterans be eligible for the new Fairness Act? No one has been more of a public servant than the poorly paid military. I agree. Coming from an old Marine Corps sergeant, I agree 100%. But we always had three hots and a cot, didn't we? And 5-10 mile runs up hills and mountains and all that on a weekly basis. It was always a lot of fun. Anyway, no, unfortunately, because veterans, y'all paid into Social Security. The people that are going to be getting that are people that in their main jobs did not pay into Social Security. They worked other places that they did pay into Social Security. And basically, what it is, they're getting a welfare type benefit that wasn't really intended to them for them. So, yeah, so there's that. But I'm not going to talk about that because I'm blue in the face talking about that. It's a completely unfair act for most people. Some people it is, good. But for yeah, I would say 75% of people, no, it's completely unfair, and it's unfair to the other 97%. So, if my husband retires in a year, will I be able to file with him? I am 60. He will be 65. No, you have to wait till you're 62 years old. The only time you can get spouse, or the only time you get spouse benefits from Social Security at 60 is if you're talking about surviving spouse benefits. So, all right, let's see. Pam, I am 63 on disability. If I file to draw to receive 50% of my husband's Social Security, who retired at 70, if he passes away, will I only be able to draw 50%? No. Good question, though, Pam. Okay, so he retired at 70, so he's getting that full delayed retirement credits. And if your benefit is less than half of his, then you can get extra benefits added onto your disability. Number one, okay. But you definitely don't want to look at his MBA. That is how much he's receiving, because if he filed at his, at 70 years old, he got that 24% bump, the delayed retirement credits. And current living spouses do not receive delayed retirement credits. So I would definitely file for benefits if you're entitled, if the numbers work out. And if something should happen to him, and let's say you're full retirement age at that time, then you'll receive basically his check. It'll Yours will be offset. But if he's getting $4,000 or $5,000 a month because he waited till 70 and he paid max his entire life, you'll get $5,000 a month minus your own. So if you're already receiving, let's say, $1,000 on your own, then you'll receive the $1,000 on your own plus another $4,000. So, but living spouses do not receive those delayed retirement credits, only surviving spouses. So, Donna, my husband collected Social Security for 8 years before he died. He was 55. He collected a check for me and our children. Yeah, so that doesn't affect anything in the future. So when you go to collect retirement benefits and spouse benefits or anything like that, that doesn't affect anything. There's no reduction in calculations or anything like that. So yeah, the fact that you collected and your children collected benefits on that person's record for 5, 6, 8 years or something, no relevance. Some people think, well, we got benefits on his record for 10 years, so his account is probably empty. Yeah, there's no such thing. So yep, you definitely go. Pray for Jimmy Carter. Oh my gosh, did Jimmy Carter? Did I miss? Jimmy Carter was probably the best ex-president we've ever had. I mean, just what a compassionate guy. Oh, I have to check the news. I didn't see that today. Oh, yeah, great guy. Was it nuclear engineer, the United States Naval Academy, just crazy intelligent. PERS disability retired from years ago, now on SSDI due to qualifying disease. I have full health from PERS for my wife and I. Both SSDI and PERS says I don't have to have Part B until 65. Um, um, maybe for PERS, but if you're eligible for Part B and you don't sign up for it when you're supposed to, and if you have health insurance from current work, which doesn't sound like you do because you're receiving disability, but if you have health insurance from your spouse's work, current work, and that employer has 20 or more employees, then no, you don't have to sign up. But if you don't have health insurance from current work, then you're going to be penalized 10% for every 12 months you don't sign up. And PERS might not make you sign up, before 65, but that's a whole different ball of wax. I'm talking about Social Security and Medicare. You'll get a 10% penalty. So I would definitely check out that. Yeah. Will they hire more people for the new law to process the claims for the WEP and then they can get them trained that fast? No, it takes a couple of years to train a Social Security employee. And that's one of the problems right now is, even if they get, one or two allocations to hire people, then, it takes 2 years to train someone. And then that year or so of training, because after a year they can do little super simple stuff, but after that first full year, then it's even worse. Customer service is worse because someone else in the office has to supervise and monitor and review all their claims and review everything they touch just to make sure they're not making mistakes. So yeah, if we push Congress people to senators to support your local office and they say, okay, I just put 10 people in your office, so everything should be good. No, it's going to be worse for basically a year until those people get trained. So that's why we need to do it immediately, if not sooner. All right, Hilda called Social Security on 11/16, got appointment for 12/3, and I got my payment for spouse benefits on 12/13, including back pay. Thank you, sir. All right, awesome, good deal. All right, everything is going good. Yeah, so give a shout out to whatever office. Anytime a Social Security office does a phenomenal job giving all of what they're having to deal with, and we definitely need to show our appreciation. Let's see, Pam, I have called. They set up an appointment but never called. I went in last week to a Social Security office. She said they called but no answer. I never received the call. Looked on my phone, so be careful. Yeah, so someone is not playing nice there, or maybe they pressed the wrong number, and whatever the case may be, or the wrong number was set up in the Vipper system, the VIP, the system that they use to to track everything. So maybe the phone number was on, but it doesn't matter. You're protected. You had an appointment, so if you had set up that appointment October, and after all this, you don't get it. You don't get your claim taken until January or February. No problem. You just tell them, hey, remember I called you all in October, so I want my benefits to start in October if that's what you want. So, but yeah, the problem is you have to wait months for your check, so that's not good. Thanks for being here. Can I collect my Social Security and Survivor on my ex's if he passes first, or IEDS actually, or do I have to give up mine since he is a lot larger? Married 20 years, divorced 27, both filing. All right. So if you've already started benefits on your own record, you have to continue benefits on your own record. And then you add those survivor benefits on top. If there's more money in the survivor benefits, you'll continue to get yours. And then if something happens to him or it already happened to them, that person, then you just file for survivor benefits and they add it on top of yours. One offsets the other. However, for those people out there that haven't filed for benefits on their own record, you don't have to if we're talking about a surviving spouse, widow, widower type of benefit. You can start receiving the surviving spouse benefits. And somebody in my YouTube chat says, well, you shouldn't call it surviving spouse. You should call it something else. But that's what Social Security calls it. So we want to use the same terminology. But surviving spouse benefits, you can collect surviving spouse benefits and not touch yours, and you let yours continue to increase until full retirement age or up to 70 years old. So eventually, if your benefits increase, quite a bit at 70, you just switch from survivor benefits to benefits on your own record. But don't forget, if you don't, then you're losing that money. All right, let's see here. Ingrid, my ex is retired, but not 62, true military and government years. They told me I first can draw on Social Security. They told me no, he is not 62 yet. Okay. So yeah, so you file if you want to file for benefits on your record, you go ahead and file for benefits on your record. And when he turns 62 years old, as long as you've been divorced for 2 years, then you can file for benefits on his record. That's that independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. Bobby, I'm jumping around here, so I apologize if I jumped over your question. There's tons of questions here. So, if you file on an ex's benefits who is still or finally working beyond 62, does the ex get notified? No. Does it negatively impact the benefits they eventually get when they retire? No, doesn't affect them at all. So yeah, so there's some people out there that says, I don't want to receive, I was married to that person for 10 years, but I don't want anything from them. Or they say, well, the person is remarried and they have a new spouse and they got kids. I don't want to take anything from the kids and because they're cute and yada yada. It doesn't. It doesn't. The new spouse can get their full benefits, whatever they're entitled to. The kids can get benefits if they're under the age of 18 or disabled or whatever the case may be. So no, it doesn't affect them. And they, don't even have to know. Sometimes with the independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, it's a little bit more difficult to file the claim because the previous spouse hasn't filed yet. And so they need to check to make sure, check a little bit more. But yeah, if the person, your ex spouse has filed for benefits, then it's super, super easy. Just need your, obviously, marriage certificate and divorce decree to prove the 10 years of marriage. Let's see, jumping around here. What the heck is going on with the government? They all got their butt up their head. Yeah. Yeah. But we're gonna that's what we're doing here. We're here to poke them with a sharp stick and hopefully they do the right thing. So turn on the lights and anyway. So Virginia does not recognize common law or partnership even after 25 years of taking care of each other. Are there any other ways to get my partner Social Security now? He's dead. Unfortunately, yeah. The only way is so for surviving spouse benefits, you had to, if it's a divorce type situation, you had to be married for 10 years. Some states, yes, do recognize common law, and Social Security has to go by the state law because marriage is a state institution. So if that particular state recognizes common law and recognizes common law during the time you held out as a husband and wife, then Social Security has to recognize that as a valid marriage. But unfortunately, it sounds like Virginia doesn't. So I'd be interested if the western half does. West Virginia. People in West Virginia. We're not the western half of Virginia. We're West Virginia. Sorry about that. I'm on SSI, Lois Lane. I was a beneficiary of an IRA, but never cashed the check or didn't contact Social Security, but am now getting the funds in January. What will happen for my delay in this matter? Yeah, that might be an issue. It really depends on when you found out about the beneficiary and stuff. If you just found out about it, you can make the case that you just found out about it because you're in SSI. SSI is the welfare-based program, and if you have any other money out there, you have to file for that other money. If you have access to any money out there, any income or resources, you have to access that because SSI does not come out of the Social Security Trust Fund. SSI comes out of the regular, budget, which is what $36 trillion in debt there. Social Security does not add one penny to the debt, but because you're on SSI, you were obligated to take any money. So I would, contact your local office, talk to an SSI CS, a claim specialist, and tell them, tell them the deal because Social Security has, if you're receiving SSI, you have the RZs, the redeterminations every 6 months or a year, where they ask you if you won the lottery or received an IRA and all this kind of stuff. And Social Security has access to different systems, LexisNexis, and your bank accounts and all that kind of stuff. Because when you apply for SSI, that's part of the stipulation. You sign away you sign that, yes, I give you permission to access my bank accounts and this and this and this, and find out, my financial situation. And that's the only way you can get the welfare based benefit, is by signing that. So I would contact them as soon as possible, and yeah, just rip that band-aid off. Yeah, as fast as possible. My hubby, Donna, what's up, Donna? My hubby collected Social Security for 8 years. Okay, I already answered that one. I don't feel comfortable sending my original birth certificate. Do I get it back? Yes, theoretically. Um, my office was the third busiest office in the country, and I got to tell you, uh, we or the post office, or I don't know, we'll take responsibility. We lost one or two or three of them, and we had to replace them. And we had to replace, I think, one or two certificate of naturalizations, and those things are crazy expensive. So yeah, yeah. If you don't want to send your original birth certificate over the mail, you can take it to your local office. Unfortunately, now with this new crazy, stupid reservation only system, whether if they're going to let you in the office, I don't know. Depends on your particular office. It's I 100. I disagree with how they're doing it now. But you can go down there, hand them your original birth certificate. They make a copy. You cannot send a copy. They have to see the original. They make a copy of the original. The employee stamps the copy, confirms it, signs off on it, and then they give the original back to you. So yes, unfortunately. All right. How do you verify Social Security used the right number? Will it be on tax return? Right number. Oh, in terms of your Social Security number, will it be on the tax return? So maybe you're talking about the earnings. Yeah, so I'll answer it based on what I think maybe you're talking about. When you file your taxes next year, February, March, April, whatever, and your W-2 wages show that you made $50,000, then that's what the IRS will notify Social Security of, that you paid FICA tax on $50,000, and then Social Security will say, okay, for $50,000. And so you go into your Social Security account and check to confirm it does in fact say $50,000. All right. Let's see. My wife and I are retired. She works part time and was a teacher. She didn't pay Social Security. I am filing this year at 62. I have rental income only and an annuity. Can she collect full spousal? We don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know if President Biden has signed the Social Security Fairness, or what I would say the Unfairness Act. Sorry, but that's if you knew how the calculations were done, you'd agree with me. So we're talking about a GPO, government pension offset. So if that is enacted, then she'll receive your full benefit. If not, 2/3 of her non-covered pension will offset what any she receives off of your benefit amount. So, but yeah, let's see here. I filed for survivor benefits a year ago, and now they are cutting my benefits by half. Why did this? Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I would definitely reach out to them and find out, why that happened. Did you just happen to receive a letter that says this? Be careful of letters that you receive right after you file. Sometimes when a claim specialist, an employee, Social Security employee, does something and they push the button, that automatically generates a letter. And so if you file for retirement benefits on your own record, they push the button and that letter goes out, and then then they go to your spouse claim and push that button, and another letter goes out, and the first one gets to you first, and you're like, "Well, I thought the person said I was going to have $1,500. How come I'm only getting 600?" The other letter's on the way. So yeah, it's a strange system, but there it is. Let's see. Is there a time limit to make a claim toward my hubby's benefits? I already started my benefit. He has not. Can I get half his even though I already started mine? No, because he hasn't started his, and he is your hubby. So I assume you're still married. Not many people call their exes hubby. So yeah, you have to wait until he files for benefits. So as soon as he starts benefits, then you can start benefits on his. I am eligible for survivor benefits come June at full retirement age. Is it true that I can claim the full benefits as early as January without penalty as long as I earn less than 65,000 before fraud? Yes, exactly. Yeah, $62,160. If you earn that, in the months before you turn your full retirement age, because again, when you hit your full retirement age, you can make $1 billion a month. It doesn't matter anymore. And if you make $1 billion, make sure you become a member and support this channel, or buy me a coffee or whatever. I don't know, but you can see all the little clicks down there. Um, but yeah. But remember, if you start it in January instead of June, you're going to be reduced a little bit, by 5 months or so. But you get 5 months worth of checks. So there's that. Let's see here. Victoria, I'm drawing on my deceased husband's Social Security. We were living together for 20 years, but only married for the last 9 years before he passed. I was previously married for 15 years, but divorced since 1990. Okay, and then it continues, but let me see if I can dissect this. So you're drawing on your deceased husband's Social Security. You were married for 10 years, okay, 20 years. Um, you were living together, but only married for 9 years before he passed. Okay, so that's fine because there wasn't a divorce type situation. So if you were married to the person when they passed, you only needed to be married to the person for 9 months, so you're good. Okay. Um, and you were previously married for 15 years, but divorced since 1990. Okay, so um, you need to check to see that first husband, its benefit amount is more than what you're currently receiving. So you can jump over to your previous spouse's record because you were married for at least 10 years. Probably if your first husband is still living out there, then the benefit amount is, you're probably not going to get extra, but I would definitely check it out, because for a living spouse, you get up to 50%. For a surviving spouse, you get up to 100%. But it doesn't hurt to try. I don't know how much your benefit amount is right now, but yeah, check to see if you're entitled to benefits on your first spouse. And you're like, well, I don't know that person's Social Security number. No problem. Call Social Security and say, "Hey, I want to file for, let's say, surviving spouse or spouse benefits on my first husband." And they'll say, "What's the Social Security number?" I don't know. Okay, what's the person's name? Where were they born? What's their date of birth, as well as you know it? And they'll be able to find the Social Security number, and they'll check to see if you're entitled to any more benefits. If you are, then they will set up an appointment and get you their money. So, and then you use what you learned here today to get maybe some retroactive benefits, right? All right, let's see here. Let me jump around. Someone is okay. Someone is spamming here, and I'm gonna have to get a moderator one day. But it's just me here, so you don't see a. Yeah, it's just me and my son, and for Medicare, we partnered with Chapter, so it's me, myself, and I. Thank you very much for valuable information. What are the companies that provide temporary disability insurance that I can subscribe to in the event that I obtain a disability other than the social? Yeah, I don't know about any temporary disability. Social Security doesn't have temporary disability. You're either disabled or you're not type of situation. So I can't really help you there, unfortunately. I'm trying to branch out. I want to bring someone in to help y'all with IRS type stuff, veterans type stuff. But yeah, it's one step at a time here. Let's see. Guy Velez. Hi, I turned 62 in July of 2025 and have been on SSDI since 2002. It's not clear to me if I am required to stay on SSDI even after my retirement age, and don't understand the greater advantage. Any advice? Yeah. If you're still disabled and you're unable to work, you don't do anything. You're good. Well, I do recommend you check out. So if you're on disability and you turn 60 years old, you should see if you're entitled to any survivor benefits to add on top of your disability benefits. When you turn 62, are you entitled to any spouse benefits, current spouse benefits, or divorce spouse benefits? And if you are, file for those, get that extra money. When you turn 65, check to see whether a Medicare supplement plan was better for you. I always recommend Medicare supplement plans, the Plan N or the Plan G. Don't give up original Medicare. You don't have to have, prior authorizations or networks that are continuously decreasing. A Medicare supplement all day long. But some people it's not for them. They can't afford it. So Medicare Advantage. And if you're on SSDI, that's the only thing you get anyway is a Medicare Advantage. Or if you're on Medicaid, and Medicare, then Medicare Advantage. Those are, yeah, I definitely recommend Medicare Advantage if you're on Medicare and Medicaid, because you can't get a Medicare supplement. But yeah, if you're on disability and turn 65, probably the reason you had to get a Medicare Advantage plan is because that's the only one that was offered in your state. They wouldn't give you a Medicare supplement. But when you turn 65, they can't deny you. They can't charge you more. They can't deny you for health, pre-existing conditions or anything like that. That's actually a phrase here in America: pre-existing conditions. No other country in the world has that word. It's in every other country. It's called your your health history. So, but here it's pre-existing conditions. But and the last thing, Guy Velez, is when you hit your full retirement age, your disability stops. Your payments don't stop. You'll continue to get your monthly benefit amount. It's going to stay the same time and the same bank account and all that kind of good stuff. But they switch you from disability benefits to retirement benefits, so you'll get retirement benefits for the rest of your life. It's just a bureaucratic thing, but yeah, you're no longer limited to how much you make and no more CDRs and all that kind of good stuff. So, all right, I'm jumping around here. Joan, have a great New Year. Sure, a lot of rest of us to do. Yes, I think I'm going to take off a couple of days for New Year's, and I will be back January 2nd. Hello, Dr. Ed. Can I file for back survivor benefits if I waited until 61 to file? Thanks so much for all you do. Yeah, if yes, absolutely. I would definitely always request. So if you're 61 years old and you just found out that, oh, I could have started survivor benefits at 60, and remember, you have to limit your work. For this year, for 2025, it's $23,400. Anything over $23,400, Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. So, all right. So, yeah, for 60, you can start your survivor benefits. And if you wait until 61, you go ahead and file and you make the case. Did you call them a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago? Did you not know? Always ask for as much back pay as you possibly can. So, and again, it's, if you'll be receiving benefits early, so it'll be reduced, but you'll get those extra checks. So it's completely based on, yeah, your benefit amount. Let's see. My daughter got disability by a judge. The Social Security caseworker told me she's terminal the case if I didn't ask her every time to terminate the case if I didn't ask her every time I took money out of her account. Thoughts? Yeah, that sounds like an SSI type of thing. So, supplemental security income, a welfare based, thing. So, um, yeah, if it's just regular SSDI, then it's a lot easier. But terminate the case if I didn't ask her every time I took money out of our account. So yeah, it really depends on that what she's talking about. Our account. They just changed the law this year that you're able to provide food for someone on SSI. It's not held against her. You're allowed to provide rent, for someone on SSI. It's not held against them as much as it used to be. So yeah, that's not exactly sure what type of context we're talking about there. So. How many months in advance do I need to wait to file for Social Security? Going to be 62 on October 2020. Yeah, a couple, 3 months before. Yeah, anything earlier than that, then they really can't help you. All right, let's see. Let's get a couple, three more questions. I got my wife in the background. Yeah, cooking dinner. So yeah, this is a big studio here. I take care of a 78-year-old dad with dementia on his monthly Social Security, which is too much for food stamps, but not enough for everything else he needs. Yeah, yeah, that's number one. Wow, thank you, Star, for wow. That has to be tough. Taking care of someone with dementia is, yeah, it's never easy, unfortunately. Um, I did a video. It's called "Living on Social Security Alone," and I kind of re-edited it and cut it a few times to to get it out there more. But look for regular videos or my live videos that said "Living on Social Security Alone," and I have about 50 different programs or ideas to maybe make your life a little bit easier. So check out those videos. The last one I did was probably about 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. So check out that one and sit there with a pen and say, "Oh, that might help out. Let me investigate that. That one might help out." So, yes. All right. I called Social Security the other day and held for 3.5 hours and had to hang up. Yeah, yeah, it's completely unsatisfactory. So remember, if y'all do that while you're waiting, get on your laptop and tell that to all your politicians, and hopefully together we can get. Yeah, it's yeah. Maybe the $2 trillion in tax cuts for the wealthy could have helped Social Security. Yeah, I mean, for the, new people to my channel, politicians say, "Well, the only thing we can do is cut benefits or raise retirement age or give it to Wall Street." No, there's dozens and dozens of other ideas, and my recommendation is to increase the cap, to smash the cap. Basically, what it is, regular viewers to my channel are probably tired of me hearing saying this, but I've got to get it out there. If you make under $176,100, you pay FICA on every dollar you make. If you make over $176,100 for 2025, it goes up a little bit every year, then you stop paying FICA Social Security tax. So someone that makes $50,000 pays, FICA tax on every dollar they make. If you make $5 million, yeah, after 176,000, you stop paying FICA tax, and that's the issue. That's why Social Security is going to be cutting benefits here in the next few years because they just don't have enough coming in because all of that money is unfortunately not taxed. We're taxed on every dollar we make, but unfortunately, yeah, it's the golden rule, right? People with the gold rules. I walked in my local Social Security office, short wait, was called up to a window, presented all my documents. She made copies, then handed me a date and time for a call. Is this wrong? No, that's wow, awesome. Wow, you must have been kind of a small rural type place, not one of the big cities. But even if you were, yeah, awesome. So, yep, sounds like they did the right thing. They got your documents and they set you up for a phone appointment to talk to an actual claim specialist. What we used to do, this was called FEI. If you walked into the office, you wanted to see someone right then. It's called front end interview. They used to, sit you in the back and take your claim right there. Show your, check your documents, and you're done. Your claim is done and adjudicated by the time you walk out the building. But it sounds like they didn't have any people available that day, or whatever the case may be. So they set you up for a future appointment. But at least they took your documents ahead of the time, and hopefully they get it to the person that takes your claim. So yeah, very efficient. Good on them. If I sell my home and I am receiving Social Security and Medicare, will I have to pay a tax or repayment of my funds? No, selling your home has zero effect on Social Security unless you're receiving, SSI, the welfare-based program. But if you're just regular Social Security, then no effect at all. Medicare, you might have to pay an extra premium 2 years from now. It depends on how much you got from the sale of your home. There's a amount that's exempt. Was it $250,000 if you're single? $500,000 if you're married is exempt from capital gains. But if you make over that, then you might have to pay a premium, an extra premium in a couple of years. So, all right. Wow, I've got tons of questions, and we only have about 3 minutes left. So I'm going to jump around here a lot, and let's see. Let me just pick someone at random here. What is the longest time period that Social Security can wait before they have to pay you your retroactive payment? What is the long that? It really depends on what type of situation we're talking about. If it was it was a disability and it was just approved by the administrative law judge, then yeah, those take a while because if you had a lawyer, they have to pay the lawyer their thousands of dollars, and then they have to check your back pay. If you're receiving SSI, they have to calculate those, and yeah, but it shouldn't take more than a couple of 3 months once the the judge makes their decision. So unless there's something very unusual of it, but yeah, couple of months should be more than enough. All right, let's go the last question here. 51 years old. I have just been approved for SSDI. I was married for over 10 years before divorcing. My ex-husband was SSDI. Neither of us is remarried. Can I collect my benefits and his benefits? No, because you're only 51 years old. So you have to be 62 years old in order to collect spouse benefits. Unless he is deceased, then you can collect it at 60 years old. So call your congressperson if you are on hold with Social Security for 3 hours. Their office can fix federal issues really quickly. Yes. The funding part of it's a little, yeah, you're talking about a congressional, and they can fix, case type issues quickly. We were required to respond back in 24 and 48 hours. But in terms of staffing, yeah, they would have to allocate a budget and, give Social Security the money you told Social Security that you told Congress people to give Social Security so they can help you. That Congress people are refusing to give Social Security. That's money you paid into Social Security for decades. To part of that money was to give to Social Security so they could help you when you needed help. And Congress is refusing to give that money to your local office to help you because they don't want them to help you, I guess. Because, you know, for whatever purposes, they want to drown it in the bathtub and give it to their buddies on Wall Street. So they want to make customer service as terrible as they possibly can. And politicians are doing a bang up job. They are doing an awesome job making customer service Social Security terrible. So let's, yeah, let's hold them accountable. All right, that is it for today. I apologize to y'all for not getting all of your questions. I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll talk about the topic of the day and then answer as many questions as I possibly can. Please take care of each other.